Hello, I got a couple of minutes here, so we're going to do, I know the lighting's bad, but I guess everybody just listens anyways. We're going to do Hagar and Ishmael. Okay, so Abraham had his wife Sarai. He was Abram and she was Sarai. Okay, and God had been promising him forever and ever. When he was 75, he started promising you're going to have kids. And this is a time when they start kind of losing hope and stop kind of believing that God's going to do what he promised. So Sarah, his wife, she had a servant. Her name was Hagar. And she's like, I don't think God's going to do this. We got to figure out a different way. Maybe God meant something different. Maybe he meant it was going to be your kid, but maybe not my kid. So she got a plan together, and she said, I want you just to make Hagar your wife, so you have more than one wife. Are they ready? So, Sarai talked Abram into taking on another wife. So now he has two wives, basically, kind of like that. Anyways, she was Sarai's maidservant, kind of like a slave. So you go have babies, you go be with her, and you can have a baby with her, and then that'll be the baby that God has promised, right? So Abram does that. She gets pregnant, and then Sarai said to Abraham, "You're responsible for the wrong that I am suffering. I have put my servant in your arms, and now she knows she is pregnant, and she despises me." So then there's all this arguing between Hagar and Sarai. Sarah really treats her really badly. Then it just says, then Sarai mistreated Hagar so bad that she fled from her and she ran away. And an angel came to Hagar and said, "Go back and submit to your mistress. Go back to your mistress and submit to her." And he added, "I'm going to increase your number of your descendants, and they're going to be so numerous you can't count them." So the promise once again. So Hagar, not only to Sarai and Abram, but also to Hagar. So she goes back and is submissive. She goes back and submits to Sarai, and she has a baby, and they name him Ishmael. What was the baby's name? So then God comes to Abram and says, "Okay, you're 99 years old. You've been waiting now since you're 75. I'm going to keep on telling you I'm going to do it. And then we're going to do something else this time. We're going to change your name from Abram to Abraham. And I'm going to give you this special sign that we're going to do, this covenant, telling you that I promise you I'm still going to give you a boy." And they gave this the covenant of circumcision. He said, "I want you to there's like this extra skin on a man's private part, and you take it off. It's called circumcision." So they God gave him that special, like, a promise, and I want everybody in your house to do this, and it'll show everybody that you are really serious about believing me and the promise I've made you. So, and I'm going to change your name to Abraham from Abram. Okay, so where were we? Oh, I got the covenant of the circumcision, and then so God's like, "I'm still serious." Abram is 99 years old. He just changed his name to Abraham, gave him a covenant, gave him a sign. And then he goes and talks to Sarai, and he says, "You're going to change your name to Sarah." And he makes her promise again. He says, "You are no longer to call," he says to Abraham, "As for Sarai, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai. You're to call her Sarah. I'll bless her and will surely give you a son by her, and I will bless her, and she will be the mother of a nation. Kings and people will come from her. Okay, so Abraham, this mighty man of faith, believed God. It was counted to him as righteousness. That's what he's famous for. Abraham fell down, face down. He laughed and said to himself, will a son be born to me, a man that is 100 years old, and will Sarah bear a child at her age of 90? And Abraham said to the Lord, if only Ishmael might live under your blessing. He's like, I think you got this wrong. Certainly you meant Ishmael, right? Then God said, yes, Ishmael's going to be blessed, but you're also going to bear a son by your wife Sarah. Will bear a son, you're going to call him Isaac, and I will surely bless him. And this time gives him a promise, this time next year, by this time next year, Sarah will bear to you a son. So, on that very day, Abraham took all of his servants, everybody in his household, and he circumcised them, and he got serious about believing God for the promise, that the promise was going to happen. And then 3 visitors came and visited Abraham now, and three men came and visited him, and he took really good care of them. They're real hospitable. Back then they didn't get a whole lot of visitors, so somebody came by, he took really good care of them. So he washed their feet, and he had them rest under a shade tree, and he went to his wife, and he begged them to stay and talked them into staying. He went to his wife and said, bake some bread, and they killed a calf, and they had a barbecue. And then the men said, or the Lord, so the men were the Lord, said, I will surely return to you this time next year, and Sarah your wife will have a son. Now, earlier, Abraham fell down face down laughing. This time, Sarah was listening. And Sarah was past the age of childbearing, way past it. She was a granny. Sarah laughed out loud, she laughed to herself, as she thought, after I am worn out and my master is old, will I have this wonderful pleasure of having kids. And the Lord said to Abraham, why is Sarah laughing? And why is she saying, will I really have a child? And then the Lord said, is anything too hard for the Lord? And the answer is no. So, promises, and faith. So, and laughing, and I have personally done this sometimes when I get in a really big pinch, and it's like, holy cow, how are you going to pull this one off, God? I actually laugh, but I still have faith that God's going to take care of me. So it's a journey. The faith journey is awesome.